Good morning. Katie asked us to give you our story. I don't think we want to give you the whole story. You'd be bored out of your skulls, streaming out of here. I'll try and make it mercifully brief if I can. I came to Fort Collins in 1971. Tim had moved here about a year and a half earlier, and I wanted to live with him. I had hoped to find a job here. Am I too close to this? We're getting feedback. Anyway, I couldn't find a job, and so I had made a couple stabs at college, dropped out. Really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, so I was muddling along. And I decided, well, maybe it would be a good idea to jump into CSU and get a degree in business and become an accountant. Nice idea. It took me a couple of years to find out that I really wasn't suited for the world of business. I'm slow. Talking to a psychologist, he gave me, he pointed me towards social work. He said, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I'd like to do about what you're doing. And he said, well, go, do it. And then he said, if you're going to stay at CSU, it probably will boil down to a choice between psychology and social work. And my goodness, heresy. He said, I think you'll find social work is the more humane approach. Nice thought. I found out that is not necessarily true. I've known a lot of very humane, loving psychologists. So I looked into social work. At that time, it was kind of a subsidiary of sociology. No school of social work at that time. Brad Schaefer was in charge of the social work program at that time. He welcomed me, made me feel like I would be welcome to come there, and so I took some courses, and it felt right. And so I changed my major from business to social work. And the first time, probably since high school, I could see a light at the end of the tunnel, and I knew it wasn't a train coming at me. So we put the program together, and I did manage to graduate. Finally got my degree at the age of 41. Knew I would need a master's degree if I wanted to work in the field I had chosen, which was counseling. So I ended up having to go to another school because at that time, CSU did not have the master's program in social work. I do want to mention there were a lot of nice people in the social work program. They made me feel welcome and wanted and appreciated. One of the professors I particularly remember is sitting out here somewhere. His name is Carl Spina. He was one of my favorites. Thank you, Carl. After I got my master's degree, I had hoped to work at maybe the hospital or the mental health center. I didn't get any interviews. It apparently was a time when people from all over the country were wanting to come here. And so there were a lot of very well qualified people applying for everything that was available in the mental health field. So I decided if I'm going to keep my fingers in this pie, I guess all I can do is open up a private practice of my own. So I did that. It probably wasn't very long after I graduated from here that I started getting the annual phone calls that anybody who graduates from here probably does. They get students who are currently enrolled here to call you and say, wouldn't you like to contribute something to CSU? Because I had had a very good experience and felt so good about CSU, I was happy to say yes. After several years of that, I was approached by Kim Winger and Victoria Keller from the Office of Planned Giving. And we got acquainted, and I can't remember who, somebody said, wouldn't you like to just establish a permanent scholarship for social work? Again, because I felt very good about this institution, it was easy to say yes. I was happy to do it. Go ahead.
Well, okay.
He wants to add a few things.
Well, as Ken mentioned, we've lived here a very long time. We've lived in Fort Collins over 45 years, and we recognize CSU as a vital part of the larger community. And I'm particularly fond of CSU because it gave Ken a direction in his life. I'm an engineer. Very odd to have an engineer and a social worker in a relationship, but anyway, that's the way it is, and it's worked out well. And we recognize that there's a real shortage of professionals prepared to work with the LGBT community. So we decided that as we were doing our estate plans, we decided we should put CSU in our will, and we did. And then we decided, well, that's fine, but you don't get the benefit of that until we die. So maybe it would be nice if we could provide something before we die. And so that resulted in the ongoing scholarship as well as the scholarship that's in the will. That's about all I guess I have to say, other than I really would like to say that we will be celebrating our 50th anniversary in August of next year.
So, go Rams.